Good morning, children. I hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to continue our chapter number 8, which is titled as Vital Villages and Thriving Towns. This is from class 6. In the previous module, we have discussed the type of villages we had, the life of villages we had, and the flourishment reason for the villages in the subcontinent. Now we are going to continue with this chapter and we are going to focus on the towns now. Now, how do we get to learn about different cities of that time, about the lifestyle of people? So we have different sources that we are going to cover now. The first one is stories, then we have sculptures, then archaeology, then travelers. Now, starting with the first source, which is stories. So we learn about Jataka stories. Now, Jataka stories, these were the stories which were composed, composed by the ordinary people, but they were written and preserved by Buddhist monks. Now, this is a story given in your book which talks about that how a clever man who was although poor, but how he overcame his poverty using his cleverness. So, this is one Jataka story. You can find more Jataka stories and share. The second source to learn about these cities is sculptures. Now, the sculptures of this period, they used to carve scenes depicting different lifestyle of people who lived in towns, villages and the forest. So, using those sculptures, we find the lifestyle of the people. And these sculptures were also used to decorate railings, pillars, gateways of buildings that were visited by people of that time. Now, we have an important mention of Sanchi Stupa in Madhya Pradesh. So, again, this was very important for that period and we get to learn about different things through the sculptures being shown here. So, cities around this period, they were developed around 2500 years ago, which were as the capital of Mahajanpads, and we have learned that why these cities were fortified for their protection from the attacks. The third source to learn about the cities of that period is archaeology. Now, archaeologists have found that there were rings of ceramic, or you can call them pots. They were arranged one over the other like this. They are called ring wells and they were found in individual houses. So, the use of this ring wells is different. Like either they were used as toilet in some cases or drains or as the garbage dumps. Now, for this period, we hardly find any remains of markets or palaces or homes of the ordinary people, and the possible reason could be that we are yet to discover, our archaeologists are still finding about them, and the other could be that could be the houses or these palaces of that time were made up of wood, mud, bricks or thatch. So, because the material used was this, so they have not survived because of the time. The fourth source to learn about the cities of this time is through the sailors and the traveler who visited these cities. Now, there's a very famous Greek sailor whose name is not known to us, but his work, his description about the ports that he visited is very important. And one such mention is the story of Berigeza. Berigeza is a Greek name for Baruch, in which he says that the gulf of this place is very narrow, and the way to come out of it, the way to work over here, it was skilled with the skill to work over here in this gulf was with the fishermen of that period, what trade they had. So he mentions this about Baruch, this Greek traveler. One more source to learn about this is that the punch mark coins were in circulation in that period. Archaeologists have found different coins belonging to this period. Now, wealth, like today also when we say who is rich, who is not rich, what measure, how do we calculate that? Today also wealth is measured in terms of money that we have. In that period also it was measured in terms of coins. Now, earlier coin, they came in about 500 years with punch mark coins. The shape was generally either rectangle or square or round. Now, what material was used to make them? This was either made out of metal sheet, either made up of metal sheet or of the metal globules. Now, metal sheet were either flattened or the globules means they were spherical bodies. They will be flattened again. They will not be inscribed because inscription means you carved over the surface. But here they were stamped. Once they have been flattened, the metal sheets or the metal globules, then they will be stamped with symbols using die and punches. So they are punch mark coins. So the other means were Other means to for the exchange was also there in the subcontinent. Other than the Panchmark coins, the next mean was the salt, because the ports were there. Ports means it is the area near sea, so there were a lot of production of salt. So salt was also used as a medium to purchase things, like in place of money you're giving salt. And the learning about this is we find from the Sangam literature. And there was one more exchange system, which is called barter system. Barter system means that we are exchanging goods from good, like you give me one fish and you give me one pack of sack of grain or vegetable, anything. So here also it says we only barter. So this is what it is. So there were different ways of exchange or purchase of goods in that period, other than coins also. Now we get to learn about different cities which had many functions. So one such city we are talking about is Mathura. This is Mathura, if you locate in the map of India. So if you see this location, Mathura was important in terms of location. First of all, location. Now why? Because see its place, you can control this area and this area. So it was a gateway to travel from northwest to the north-south, from northwest to the north-south. Now over here this was an important route for the trade in that period, so it was important because of the location. Second reason we come to know about is the sculpture, because farmer and herders, they provided food to the people, but fine sculptures were also produced around this period, so this was important. And the third reason is this was made as second capital of Kushana kingdom. Again, the fourth reason is religious center. Mathura still remains a very important religious center today, and that time also it was a religious center because we had Buddhist monasteries, we had Jain shrines, an important center for Krishna. That time also, and it remains even today. Then we found the inscription. Fifth reason is inscription. We find the inscription of that period. This also came up, and inscriptions they were gifted by men, kings, or the rich people. They were gifted by the monasteries and to the shrines. So we get to know through this inscription, we get to know the skill of the craft person who lived in the city in that period. So that is why, for all these reasons, the Mathura was very important city of that period. Now we get to find about the craft and craft person of this period. The craft and the craft person flourish a lot during this period, and we have archaeological evidences for this. Our archaeologists have found very fine craft work, which is known as Nadan Black Polishware, NBVP. Now why this name has been given to this craft pottery of this period is that because it was found in the northern part of the subcontinent. It was hard, it was wheel based, and it had a metallic looking shiny black surfaces because it was exposed to the high temperature. So you know, the potter even today when they are making the pottery, they will expose it to the high temperatures to give it strength. Further, this polished ware was given a further polish, which was the black color again, which was made up of which was a combination. It was a liquid of clay and water. So with that, they used to give it a shiny black surface also. Plus, they were exposed to high temperature. Now, from the text, we have found that manufacturing of cloth was important, and the famous center for this was Madurai in the south. Now, we have mentioned Madurai in the Sangam literature also when we talked about Sangam literature in the previous part. Now, because the craft work was flourishing and the craft persons were also flourishing, so we have a mention of the same in Arthashastra. Now, Arthashastra, you know that it was what was Arthashastra? It was composed by Kautilya or Chanakya. So in this, we find the extract that how people were there. There were different ladies who were employed from different ages, and they were paid according to the quality and quantity of the work which they were into. So it was so important that it has a mention in the book of that time. Now because it was flourishing, and you see that the mention was there in Arthashastra, so it was very important, it was flourishing. Now like we have associations today, so both the men and women who were working in these craft centers, they were organized into an association which was called Shrenis. Now this Shrenis was very important because first of all they all used to see that the people who are working, they how to get the raw material, so they were looking after, they were actually making it, the craft and the craft people, they were actually making these things very organized for them. So they used to procure raw materials, they used to provide trainings if they need, how the finished product will be distributed, they organize the trades, and in some cases they served as bank. These Shrenis served as banks. That means the rich people will invest money, they will lend out the money to the people who need them, and then the money which they are getting as interest from the invested money, they would give it to support religious institution like monasteries, uh, and or donated wherever it is needed. So this is how the Shrenis in that time was very organized, and the reason for this is that the craft were flourishing. Now let's learn about Arikamedu. We have already discussed why Mathura was important. Let's now understand why Arikamedu in south is important. Now it's a coastal settlement in south of India. This is, here it lies in Puducherry. Now this is, again you can see it's a port. So we have very many evidences that it had connects with Roman Empire, with Rome of that time. Now we have found two type of pottery over here. One is your amphorae. Amphorae is this is amphorae. Amphorae is a jar which has double handle, two side handles, and it used to it was used by people to contain liquids such as wine or oil. Now one more type of pottery we have found, that is called Aretine. This has been named after a city in Italy. So this is what it was, red glaze pottery, and it was like this, and this is why that is the pottery from the Mediterranean region, and it is very important. And this further Arikamedu tells us that we had connects with Rome Empire when it comes to the trading. Now again further we have found very many things. We have found small tanks which were used as dyeing vats in that period. They were pressed, they were made by pressed wet clay into a stamp mold, and Roman designs were being used. That again further shows that we had, because we had the trading connects with Rome Empire, so Roman designs were used, Roman lamps were used, and different gems, important valuable gems have been found at this site. Now one more thing, the wares, the pottery that we have found that makes use of Brahmi script. Now because we had trading connects with Rome, so the Rome was very important that period. Now the Roman Empire, now when that was flourishing that time, then we had Ganga Valley capital in our subcontinents. Okay, so there the spread of Roman Empire was from Europe to North Africa to West Asia, and Augustus was a very important king who ruled the Roman Empire, and he said that when he got the Rome, it was a city of brick, and it was Augusta, King August, who made it into the city of marble from the city of brick. He further actually built temples and palaces during his reign in the empire. And this is the picture of amphitheater. Here the people will come and do different entertainment activities, and here the other people, the audience, will come and sit and watch all these shows and public baths. So there was separate timing for, if there's a public bath ceremony, so there was separate timing for men and women where people would meet each other and relax. And these had channels to water supply and drain things also. So it was this is the mention of what was happening when what was happening in our continent, what was happening in Europe, in Rome. So thanks for watching. Please do watch it again for better understanding. Like, subscribe and share if you have liked it. Thank you so much.